Imagine spending 6 months, like literally pouring resources into getting your website to rank #1 on a major search
Oh,
engine.
yeah. A massive, massive effort.
Right. And then you finally get there. But you look at your analytics and you realize that absolutely zero human beings are actually clicking on it.
It's a terrifying realization.
It really is. And the reason why? Because an AI just read your beautifully optimized site, extracted all the value from it, and instantly answered the user's question for them right there on the search page.
Yeah, 0 clicks, it just gives them the answer.
Exactly. So if you are listening to this right now, well, I know you. You are our resident learner. You love going down deep rabbit holes to figure out how things work.
Always digging deeper.
Always.
Yeah.
And the very terrain of how you find answers online, and honestly how anyone actually gets those answers to you, is undergoing just a massive earthquake. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it. It really is a profound shift in the actual architecture of the internet. I mean, we are moving from an era of information retrieval to an era of information synthesis.
Right.
And if you are still playing by the rules of retrieval, the old way, you are essentially optimizing for a ghost town.
A ghost town, exactly. Which is exactly why the mission for our deep dive today is to break down what the sources are calling the synthesis shift.
It's a great term for it.
Yeah, we're looking at the collision between traditional SEO, search engine optimization, and AEO, which is answer engine optimization.
The new frontier.
Right. So today we are going to tear down the old assumptions, look at the underlying mechanics of how these new systems actually read information, and build a new operating system for getting found.
Sounds like a solid plan.
So let's start with that fundamental shift you just mentioned, retrieval versus synthesis. What is the actual, mechanical difference happening when I type a question into my browser today compared to maybe 3 years ago?
Okay, so think about the old model as a highly efficient filing cabinet. You typed in a query, and the system retrieved a list of files, those classic blue links.
Right, the blue links we all know.
Exactly. And those mathematically matched your keywords.
Hmm.
But it was up to you, the user, to click those links, read the files, and kind of piece together the answer yourself.
So the ultimate metric of success for a brand was just getting that click.
Yes, exactly. Getting the click was everything. But answer engines, they fundamentally changed that transaction. Now, the system acts as the synthesizer.
Okay.
It goes into that filing cabinet, pulls out multiple sources, reads them, and then dynamically composes a completely original, cohesive answer on the fly.
Okay, the analogy I keep picturing is the difference between a librarian and an executive assistant.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so traditional search was like walking up to a librarian and asking for information on a topic. They hand you a stack of 10 books, point to a quiet table, and just walk away.
Good luck, right?
Exactly. You have to do all the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
But these new answer engines, they are the executive assistant who takes those 10 books, weeds them overnight, and writes you a customized, highly detailed memo that answers your exact question.
And it just drops a few footnotes at the bottom.
Right. Just in case you want to double check their math,
That is a perfect visualization. What's fascinating here is how it highlights why the definition of winning has completely inverted.
Inverted how?
Well, in the librarian scenario, winning meant having the brightest, flashiest book cover, so the user would pick yours out of the stack.
Yeah.
It was basically a shouting match for a click. But in the executive assistant scenario, the user rarely even looks at the books. Winning now means earning the right to be referenced in the memo.
So you want to be the authoritative source.
Precisely. You want the AI to trust you enough to use your information as the actual foundation for its synthesized answer.
Wow. That requires a totally different mental model. I mean, you can't just be a marketer trying to bait a click anymore.
Not at all.
You have to think like a publisher and really a product designer. Because the AI's synthesized answer block essentially is the new homepage.
It is the homepage.
Yeah, if your content doesn't earn its way inside that block, you just don't exist.
Which leads to a very dangerous conclusion that is spreading like wildfire right now.
Oh, what's that?
Because the AI is doing all this heavy lifting, synthesizing the memo and keeping the user on the search page, many people assume that traditional SEO is completely dead.
Oh, I hear that constantly. People say, wait a second, if the AI is just scraping my text to summarize it in a chat window, why do I care about technical SEO?
Right. They think it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, they're like, if the user is never actually visiting my website to experience my beautiful design, why on earth does my page speed or my site architecture even matter?
Well, it matters because indexing is oxygen.
Indexing is oxygen. Okay, explain that.
That is the cold, hard, technical reality of how these large language models are integrated into search. Answer engines do not possess magical omniscience. They don't just know everything instantly.
Right.
They are still built on top of crawling technologies.
Hmm.
Bots still have to physically visit your digital property, read the code, and index the information before it can ever be synthesized.
Okay, wait, let me make sure I'm picturing this right. You're saying that before the AI can act as that brilliant executive assistant writing the memo,
Yeah.
it first has to send out an army of robotic scouts to physically gather the books. And if my library is a mess, those scouts just turn around and leave.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Bots have what is called a crawl budget. They only allocate a certain amount of time to parse your site.
Ah,
So if your site takes forever to load because of
Mhm.
massive images or your internal linking is
where
broken,
your code is just a bloated mess.
right, then the bot experiences parsing fatigue. It literally times out. And if that happens, you are functionally invisible to the AI.
You don't even make it to the synthesis layer.
You don't. So traditional SEO isn't dead. It has simply transitioned into being the eligibility layer.
Oh, I love that term, eligibility layer. It's like the physical fitness test. If you don't pass the baseline physical of technical SEO, you don't even get to try out for the AEO team.
Precise. The fundamentals are non-negotiable now. And beyond speed, we are talking about information architecture.
Like how things are organized.
Yeah. How are your topic clusters organized? Do you use structured clarity, clean H2 and H3 headers, bulleted lists, logical hierarchies?
Right, because if you just hand a bot a massive unstructured wall of text.
It requires too much computational power to decipher the relationship between the concepts. Clean structure is what allows an AI to easily parse, extract, and categorize your information.
Okay, so the technical foundation stays. It's the cost of entry. But if that foundation is intact, we really need to talk about what we have to discard.
Yes, we do.
Because the sources make it painfully clear that a lot of the old content strategies we used to layer on top of that foundation are not just ineffective. Now they actively destroy your visibility in an answer engine.
Yeah, the mindset upgrades required here are significant.
Yeah.
The first thing that has to break is how we measure success.
Okay.
You have to stop reporting we rank #1 as your primary metric.
Right, because rankings no longer explain outcomes. Going back to our earlier scenario, you could rank #1 in the traditional blue links.
But no one sees it.
Exactly. If you are buried underneath a massive screen-filling AI answer block and your competitor is the one being cited inside that AI summary, your blue link ranking is completely meaningless.
The user's journey ended before they even scrolled down to see you.
So our definition of visibility has to become much more granular. The sources outline 4 distinct objects of visibility in this new era.
Yes, the 4 objects. The first is citations.
Okay, what are those exactly?
These are actual clickable links to your site embedded directly inside the AI's answer.
Got it.
The second is mentions. This is when the AI names your brand or product as a solution, but it doesn't provide a link.
Which used to drive marketers absolutely crazy. They'd say, we got a mention, but no backlink. This is useless.
I know, but in an LLM world, that mention trains the AI's internal weights to associate your brand with the solution.
So it's actually foundational for future synthesis.
Yes, it really is. Now, the third object is answer inclusion. This happens when your content was factually used to generate the response, shaping the narrative of the answer, even if you aren't explicitly named.
So your ideas are in there, basically.
Right. And the fourth is SRP real estate, meaning where exactly your digital assets, like videos, images, social profiles, physically show up on that dynamic search page.
Okay, so if we're chasing those 4 specific visibility objects, another massive old rule has to die.
Which one?
The strategy of publishing generic filler content just to target a single keyword. You know the articles, I mean. The ones where they awkwardly shove the phrase best running shoes into every single paragraph.
Oh, yes. It makes for a terrible human reading experience.
It's the worst. But why is that over-optimized phrasing so toxic to an AI?
Because it lacks natural semantic depth. An AI doesn't just look for a keyword string. It looks for the natural ecosystem of words that should surround a topic if it's actually written by a genuine expert.
Right, the surrounding vocabulary.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, if you were writing about running shoes, the AI expects to see terms like pronation, EVA foam, heel drop, and gate analysis.
And if you just repeat the main keyword over and over,
The AI flags it as thin, manipulative content and just ignores it entirely.
that makes total sense.
Yeah.
And that ties directly into the biggest strategic shift mentioned in the sources, this idea that one page equals one keyword is officially broken. Answer engines do not think in isolated keywords.
They don't. They think in what the sources call question webs.
Question was.
The question web is the perfect mental model for synthesis. When a user asks a question, the AI already knows the next 5 questions the user is statistically likely to ask.
Okay, let's map out that running shoe example because it makes this so clear. In the old days, you built page entirely optimized around best running shoes.
And you defended that little island.
Right. But in the AEO era, you have to map out the entire spider web of user intent. You start at best running shoes, but you must immediately connect to the logical follow-ups.
Like, what are the best shoes for flat feet?
Exactly. What is the difference between a stability shoe and a neutral shoe? What is the expected mileage lifespan? How does the toe box sizing run?
And here is the critical mechanical reality of that question web. If your content does not answer that next logical question, the AI hits a dead end.
And an AI does not tolerate dead ends.
It definitely doesn't. It simply abandons your content, shifts its attention, and pulls from a competitor site to synthesize the rest of the answer.
Wow. So you lose the citation because you failed to guide the journey.
Exactly. You only provided a fragment of the web, so you only get a fragment of the AI's attention.
So what exactly is the AI looking for to verify that your web is actually trustworthy? Like, how does an algorithm evaluate truth?
It looks for verifiable scaffolding. Evidence has indirectly become one of the most powerful ranking factors in the synthesis era.
Scaffolding, okay.
Answer engines want to reuse content that minimizes their risk of hallucinating.
They want to be safe.
Exactly. So when you include hard statistics, direct quotes from experts, highly specific methodologies, or original survey data, you are giving the AI confidence.
Those aren't just decorative elements.
No, they act as structural supports. The more verifiable evidence you provide, the more confident the AI is in cementing your content into its synthesized answer.
All right, so we've established the technical eligibility layer, and we've torn down the broken habits like keywords, stuffing, and ignoring follow-up questions. Now let's get building.
Yes, the fun part.
How do we actually create a new operating system for this era?
Well, the modern discoverability system is built on 3 interconnected layers. Layer 1, as we discussed, is technical eligibility, your SEO crawl health.
Right.
Layer 2 is answer readiness. This is your AEO content, structured to immediately answer questions and provide that evidence scaffolding.
Okay.
And layer 3 is authority and distribution. This is the trust layer, PR mentions, brand visibility across the web, expert authorship.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Regarding that third layer, there was a brilliant insight in our sources. In the answer era, your entire marketing footprint is your discoverability.
Yes.
Not just your website. The AI is sweeping your brand's social media, your PR features, even random community forums like Reddit, and feeding all of that into the synthesis.
It evaluates your brand holistically. But to practically feed those 3 layers, you need the right specific assets on your site. The sources identify 4 core AEO deliverables that answer engines systematically prefer to reuse.
Let's walk through these because this is the real tactical playbook. The first asset is the answer page.
Right.
Now, this isn't a traditional 2,000-word rambling blog post where you bury the answer in the conclusion.
Oh, please no.
The answer page delivers the core factual answer immediately in the first 2 to 3 sentences. Then it expands into the nuances, provides the evidence scaffolding, and clearly maps out the next steps in the question web.
Exactly. It respects the AI's need for immediate extraction. The second asset is the comparison page. Think product X versus product Y, detailing pros and cons and highly specific use cases.
Why does AI love comparison pages so much?
Think about the computational effort required for an AI to answer a versus question from scratch.
Okay.
If a user asks software A versus software B, the AI usually has to scrape software A's highly biased site, then scrape software B's highly biased site, and try to synthesize an objective middle ground.
That sounds like a lot of work.
It takes heavy processing power. If you provide a clean, objective comparison page with structured data tables, you save the engine massive computational effort.
Ah, so it will reward you by citing your table directly.
Precise.
You're literally doing the AI's homework for it. I love that. The third asset is the evidence page. This is content explicitly designed to be cited by others.
Yes.
We are talking original industry data, deep methodology breakdowns, or comprehensive glossaries.
Right. And the fourth asset is the topic hub. This is the master map. It connects everything from the beginner top-of-funnel questions all the way down to bottom-funnel purchase decisions.
Whole web.
The whole web. I want to pause here and challenge everyone listening. Run a mental audit of your current content inventory right now.
Yeah, think about what you actually have.
Do you have any dedicated objective comparison pages? Do you host any real evidence pages with original data that someone else would actually want to cite?
If the answer is no,
You are leaving your answer engine visibility entirely on the table. You are asking the AI to synthesize a meal, but you haven't put any ingredients in the pantry.
that is a brutal but necessary wake-up call. But here is the organizational reality. Building this sophisticated three-layer system with these four specific assets, you cannot do that with a splintered team.
No, it's impossible.
Right now, most companies have SEO, content, social, and PR all operating in completely isolated silos with completely different goals.
It is a fatal organizational flaw in the synthesis era. AEO forces team convergence. The individual roles must fundamentally shift.
How so?
Content writers can't just be storytellers. They have to lead with structured answers. SEO specialists have to stop obsessing over keyword volume and view crawl health and topic clustering as their primary metrics.
What about social media?
Social media managers need to stop just posting memes and start actively monitoring communities to capture the exact phrasing of real user questions.
Oh, to feed that back to the content team.
Exactly, to build out those topic hubs.
Let me push back on one of these role shifts, though, because it feels like a massive leap. The sources suggest PR teams need to be integrated into this AEO strategy.
They absolutely do.
But is it actually realistic to ask a traditional PR team, people who are used to schmoozing journalists and chasing glossy magazine features, to suddenly care about something as technical sounding as a retrieval signal?
They don't have a choice because PR placements are retrieval signals now.
Really?
Yes. When a high domain authority publication mentions your brand or links back to your original evidence page, the AI reads that as a massive, heavily weighted signal of trust.
Ah, so it builds that authority layer.
Right. If your PR team is out there pushing a completely different narrative or getting features about topics that don't align with the content team's priority topic hubs, the AI gets confused.
The signals cancel each other out.
Exactly. PR is no longer just about brand awareness. It is, in many ways, citation engineering. They must work from the exact same topic playbook.
Citation engineering. Wow, that framing completely changes the value of PR. So if a team realizes they are totally siloed and completely behind on this, how do they transition without causing a massive panic?
Well, the sources provided a very structured 30, 60, 90-day action plan.
Yeah, and what struck me about the first 30 days is how remarkably slow it seems.
Yes, the instinct is to panic and overhaul the entire website, which is the worst thing you can do.
Just break everything all at once.
Right. Days 1 through 30 are purely about establishing a baseline and running a lab test.
Okay, what does that look like?
You identify a core set of just 25 to 50 priority search queries. You document exactly where you are showing up in AI answers today and what competitors the AI is currently citing instead of you.
Just getting the lay of the land.
Exactly. Then you upgrade just 3 to 5 existing pages to have that answer first structure, and you publish one high-intent comparison page.
Why only 3 to 5 pages? Why not fix 50?
Because you don't know exactly how the specific AI models in your industry are weighting information yet.
Oh, that makes sense.
If you overhaul 500 pages and accidentally strip out semantic depth that the AI actually liked,
Yeah.
you could tank your entire discoverability overnight.
Wow, okay. So you use those 3 to 5 pages to prove the concept and see how the AI reacts.
Exactly. Protect the downside.
Then, in days 31 through 60, you systematize. You've proven the concept, so now you build out one complete topic hub with its supporting pages.
Yeah.
You launch one major evidence asset, like an original data report. And crucially, this is the phase where you bring PR and social to the table.
This is where it all comes together.
You say, hey, we just built this evidence asset. PR, we need you to engineer citations for it.
Exactly. It becomes a coordinated strike.
Finally, days 61 through 90 are when you scale. You expand your query tracking, you run continuous structure experiments, like to see if the AI prefers tables over bullet points for certain answers, and you build internal templates so every new piece of content naturally fits the AEO model.
And throughout this entire 90-day process, Your measurement model has to evolve.
We drop the obsession with we rank.
Yes. Instead, we track answer visibility. What percentage of those 50 priority queries actually result in our brand being cited or mentioned in the AI block?
Okay.
We track competitive share. Are we successfully stealing citation space from our competitors?
And above all, business outcomes.
Always. Are these AEO upgraded pages actually driving assisted conversions and high-quality leads? Because if it doesn't move the business, it's just an expensive science experiment.
Precisely. To synthesize everything we've discussed today, pun completely intended, the TLDR, of the synthesis shift is this. SEO earns your eligibility. AEO earns your selection. You cannot have one without the other.
We really can't.
You must optimize for question webs, not single keywords. And you must build verifiable assets specifically designed to be cited by machines.
That's the playbook right there.
And to you, our learner listening right now, whether you are a marketer trying to adapt a brand strategy, a researcher trying to get your findings cited, or just someone endlessly curious about how information flows, understanding these synthesis mechanics makes you a much sharper consumer of the internet.
It really does.
When you see an AI answer now, you'll know exactly how it was built and what the bot had to crawl to get there.
It pulls back the curtain entirely.
Yeah.
But this raises an important question, and it's one I want to leave everyone to chew on.
What's that?
The source material noted a powerful distinction. AI overviews reward pages that can be summarized. AI mode rewards brands that can guide a journey.
Oh, that is a fascinating distinction.
It is the ultimate paradox of this shift. As AI gets infinitely better, faster, and cheaper at summarizing basic, factual information, the monetary value of simply providing facts will drop to zero.
Right.
So we have to ask ourselves, will the future value of human knowledge and human creators lie entirely in our ability to design the unsummarizable?
Wow.
Will our worth be defined by the deeply experiential journeys, the provocative pushback, and the creative leaps that an AI can only point to, but can never actually replicate?
If the AI is the tireless executive assistant perfectly writing the memo, human beings still have to be the ones actually living the experiences, debating the nuances, and generating the original insights that make the memo worth reading in the first place.
Exactly. We have to do the living.
Thank you for going down this rabbit hole with us today. The earthquake is definitely happening, but at least now we know how the new tectonic plates actually move.
It was a pleasure.
Keep asking great questions, keep mapping out those question webs, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.